What's going on, YouTube? Stocks by the numbers. Quick update here on a stock we were looking at, Freight Technologies, ticker symbol FRGT, listed here on the NASDAQ. Well, for the time being. And apparently this company has not done what I personally thought it was going to do, which is why I hate looking at these gambling stocks and these companies that have not already established themselves and do not have consistent, at least, revenue coming in. Even if it's not consistently growing, at least if they maintain some sort of plateau. And basically, we're seeing the exact opposite here. So, Freight Technologies sitting here at 71 cents, flat on the day. We did the video, I think it was right back here, maybe like April 17th, and I said that like we could rise here, bouncing off the moving average. However, we're coming off a reverse split, so we could drop. I think I mentioned like 160 or something, or maybe 1.5, and it dropped to like 160. And then you can see it kind of bounced off of that low there, and regained up to the fib of 208 and got back above that 20-day. And then you can see May 12th, it just took a chunk down and has basically been falling since then. So you have to ask yourself, well, what the hell happened on May 12th? Well, you got a bullshit headline like this, which is why, again, I reiterate, utilize the Buffett method if you would like, in my opinion, to consistently be up more than you're down in the stock market, regardless of what's going on outside of it. Because, of course, if you invested into brand name companies that sold off that you could have got in at a little bit of a discount, you would be up, most likely. And of course, looking at a situation like this, again, highly speculative, and as we see now with the company consistently pulling back, basically anyone who was involved in the stock at any point is now down hugely. And again, the reason being consistent consistent reverse stock splits, and of course, headlines like this again. Freight Technologies preliminary Q1 2023 revenue 11% below Q1 of 2022, right? So we thought we were getting involved into a company that was finally about to make the U-turn, started to sign new clientele, and was about to generate new revenue. Remember the article we read last time? Anticipating revenue up, 30-40% year over year, whatever the hell they were anticipating. Now we're seeing revenue below here for Q1 of 2022. Now, this could mean one of two things. Either A, it's just not as popular and as necessary as everyone thinks, as they thought it would be, the people at the company. And now they're seeing that they're struggling to actually convince people that they should sign up and utilize this company's platform, this company's, logistics software, their app, Freight app. But also on the flip side, it could just mean that, it was a slow Q1, maybe Q2 time, and the company is now going to seriously ramp up revenue coming in the second half of 2023. So, of course, we could kind of go either way here, but again, this is why I say to invest into established companies, because when you're dealing with a situation like this, anytime you have a company like nearing that dollar and change, $2 level, they're listed here on the NASDAQ, they haven't really done anything, or they're struggling to do things. They may have announced one or two or more reverse stock splits in the past, and they're basically just fighting to maintain NASDAQ listing. That is not a situation that you should be involved in my opinion. Again, this is a highly speculative situation, and if you're down big here in this position, I just really hope it was money that you could afford to lose, because going back whenever you bought it, whether it was at the end of 22 or if it was all the way back here in 2017, whenever you got involved into this situation, it needed to be money that you could have afforded to lose, because the company had nothing going on, and again, has just basically been doing reverse stock splits. So that's why when you look at companies like this, you have to understand this is highly speculative, and the company could completely break down. And just because you own it, or just because you really need it to go up, the market doesn't care, and it's not going to happen if it shouldn't happen. And again, now we have a bottom fib here of 28 cents. So does it seem extreme? Yes. Could they bring it there? Yes. So again, they're basically destroying the price of this stock here. You have multiple reverse stock splits, and then of course negative headlines like that one that we read back on May 12th. And we got a new director of AI coming in. Price target adjustment to $9 from $20. So that's what, 55% decrease in your price target. I don't and obviously I'm assuming that's long term, because now here sub $1 for them to get back to $9, this company is seriously going to have to start rocking and rolling here. Doing a little collab here. You know, it's like there's some good and there's some bad. See, secured a contract renewal here with K-Flex de Mexico, and like that's good, right? That's good. But also, if you come down here, there was another article. Look, Freight Technology announces discontinuation of strategic alliance with freight company from Mexico to focus on higher margin opportunities. You're in the shitter right now. You're sitting there doing constant reverse stock splits. You probably got trash salesmen or some shit who can't even push your platform or your product and have no idea how to entice the customer. And obviously less people are signing up than you probably projected, and then you come out with some bullshit announcement like that. Oh, revenue is going to be down from Q1 of last year. It's like, how is it down? Like, we were already at the bottom. You're supposed to be kicking it into gear. You're supposed to be rolling on all cylinders. And again, shareholders, yeah, I'm sure all of you are upset because you have a stock now just completely shit in the bed, hitting new lows. But I mean, I'm like the fool also, right? Because I was over here, it could drop down to 150, and then it could run back up to 3 or 4. But no, the company comes out with some bullshit announcement, makes a fool out of me, and then completely drops, over 50% from where it was when we analyzed it. I mean, again, I understand we're going to get some right, we're going to get some wrong, but at the end of the day, we looked at some articles saying that they projected that revenue was going to increase, I forgot, maybe like 30 or 40% year over year projected revenue. And then you come out with a headline like that, revenue's down 11%. So, again, could mean either they're struggling and the stock is going to continue to pull back and they're not going to bring in the type of revenue that they anticipated, or perhaps they're just struggling in the first 1 to 2 quarters here of 2023, and then they're going to have like a nice chunk up in revenue for the second half of 2023, almost like a Rolls Royce does, right? I really don't know, but again, the problem is going back, we drew out these trend lines, and you can see again going from this bottom to this bottom that was made, and the recent bottoms here before the last video, again, which was made like right here, April 17th or 18th or something, right? So we had like multiple bottoms here off this trend line, and you can see zooming in as it chunked down off of, again, that negative headline, you can see it really fought to bounce around and stay up above that trend line. And then, of course, you have the big breakdown, and it just has consistently been selling off. So again, I don't know if they're necessarily going to bring it all the way down to 28 cents, but as of right now, it looks like they're keeping it down because they did break the trend line, and it did seem like we were in a long-term descending wedge. So that's why I felt that they would potentially just keep it quiet going into one of these apexes and then have it start to pop out and, climb and break above fibs and slowly climb and use these other trend lines as its future support levels. But unfortunately, it seems like that is not what's going on. So, Freight Technologies, FRGT, obviously we got this one wrong. But again, the reason why it can get so bad so quickly is, again, because this was not an established company that had, some historical revenues that we can look at. And, obviously it's really not in the eyes of a lot of analysts. Even if we come down here, right, we read that one, that guy had the $9 price target. That's the only guy. That's the only guy right now. So we have one analyst in the past 3 months telling us it's a buy and it should be higher, right? So almost potentially just looking at projected revenues like you and I were back in April, and basically, reading the past headlines on the stock and saying to yourself, all right, minus the reverse stock split, everything sounds great, and the company should eventually, U-turn and start to climb. And of course, again, that really has not happened. So curious to see as of late if that individual potentially wants to readjust their price target. But again, honestly, in my opinion, I really couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you about this situation here. Again, because there's really nothing to go on. So this is going to be a situation where it just falls asleep, potentially loses its NASDAQ compliance, unless, of course, it files for that 180-day extension that we spoke about with ToughBuilt, TBLT, doing something similar. And this is just going to be a sleeper and a wait and see. And then, hopefully, willing, if everything goes according to plan for any of you holding shares, the company will come out and say, oh, we signed this client, now, revenues are up 10, 12% above projections. And so that's what the company needs, especially after this massive sell-off since inception and multiple reverse stock splits. The company really needs to get its ass into gear. And I don't know, potentially, again, like I said, maybe you hire some, a new sales team or something to push your platform, because it just doesn't seem to be working efficiently here, in my opinion. But if you're involved in FRGT, believe me, I feel your pain. We have all been there before, regardless of what anyone tries to tell you. We've all had a situation like this that we just held on too long, or, we just bought it blindly without doing our research. Or in the end, even if we crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And that's it. That's why we always say, right? Control the controllables. Don't force trades or investments. Take what the market gives you. But again, if it was easy, everyone would do it. And even though most people do attempt to do this, we know that like 80, 90% of them get it wrong. And usually it comes down to either A, being too emotional, or B, just not doing enough research. And again, a situation like Freight Technologies, FRGT, had no problem taking a look at it when it was suggested in the comments section. But again, overall, me personally, not a company I would be looking at. But that's just me. But I'm going to end it there. Once again, Stocks by the Numbers. Thank you guys for stopping by. Like the video, thumbs up, algorithm, share the video. Helps me get more eyes on the channel. Handshake agreement, right? I'll look at any symbol you want. You want to come into Discord. You want to try to see if we have any short-term or long-term investments set up here. You want to have a little back and forth, no problem. All I ask, handshake agreement. Help me help you. And by doing so, push the subscribe button. That's how you help me. But moving forward, overall, like I always say, I understand that markets are rocky and volatile and uncertain. So I want to wish everyone success. Hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. Thanks for stopping by. Catch you in the next one.